beaucoup à l'Union interparlementaire. La parole au Centre pour la paix. Et après, à le Comité des femmes pour l'égalité des sexes Portugal.
My name is Benjamin Ferencz, and I thank all of you for the privilege of addressing this historic conference. I have come to Rome to speak for those who cannot speak, the silent victims of monstrous deeds. The only authorization I have comes from my heart. Over 50 years ago, I stood in the courtroom at Nuremberg and accused 22 high-ranking German stormtroopers of deliberately murdering more than 1 million men, women, and children. The defenseless victims were slaughtered because they did not share the race or the creed of their executioners. I asked the tribunal to affirm the legal right of every human being to live in peace and dignity. It was a plea of humanity to law, a plea that needs repeating. Unanimous affirmation of the Nuremberg Principles by the United Nations in 1947 implied a promise that never again would aggression, war crimes, and crimes against humanity go unpunished. War crimes trials after World War II came to grips with the past. We have yet to come to grips with the future. I have come to Rome to plead for a more humane world. Nuremberg was the beginning of a process. Failure to build on its precedents has cost the world dearly. Once the political will was aroused, the Security Council was able in 1993 and 1994 to establish competent criminal courts quickly to bring perpetrators of genocide and crimes against humanity in former Yugoslavia and Rwanda to trial. But limited ad hoc courts created after the event is hardly the best way to ensure universal justice. A permanent court is needed for permanent deterrence. The time for decisive compromise has come. Now the challenge is in your hands. Outmoded traditions of state sovereignty must not derail the forward movement. National power and privilege must take account of international needs. We all share one interdependent planet linked by new networks of instant communication. No nation and no person can feel secure until all are secure. The silent voices of we the peoples, who are the true sovereigns of today, cry out for enforceable law to protect the universal human interest. You have it in your power to make the dream of a more humane world under law come true. I have come to Rome to speak for peace. Ever since the judgment at Nuremberg, it has been undeniable that aggressive war is not a national right, but an international crime. War is the soil from which the worst human rights violations invariably grow. The UN Charter prescribes that only the Security Council can determine when aggression by a state has occurred, but it makes no provision for criminal trials. No criminal statute can expand or diminish the Council's vested power. Only an independent court can decide justly whether any individual is innocent or guilty. Excluding aggression from international judicial scrutiny is to grant immunity to those responsible for the supreme international crime. Omission encourages war rather than peace. Carefully selected judges and prosecutors, subject to supervision, public scrutiny, and budgetary controls, provide adequate guarantees that they will not betray their trust. They must be given the authority and the tools to do their difficult job. The certainty of punishment can be a powerful deterrent. To condemn crime yet provide no institution able to convict the guilty is to mock the victims and encourage dangerous unrest. Human rights must prevail over human wrongs. International law must prevail over international crime. I have come to Rome to encourage your noble efforts. A great deal more needs to be done before the causes of international crimes are removed. But one thing is sure, without clear international laws, courts, and effective enforcement, there can be no deterrence, no justice, and no world peace. Justice, reconciliation, and rehabilitation are needed to bind up the wounds of humankind. Hope is the engine that drives human endeavor. It generates the energy needed to achieve the difficult goals that lie ahead. Never lose faith that the dreams of today for a more lawful world can become the reality of tomorrow. Never stop trying to make this a more humane universe. If we care enough and dare enough, an international criminal court, the missing link in the world legal order, is within our grasp. The place to act is here, and the time to act is now. Thank you.
Au Centre pour la paix, il y a un changement. En lieu de le comité des femmes pour l'égalité des sexes partout dans le monde, on prendra la parole demain.
No puede ser. ¿Cómo me va?
La quatrième séance publique plénière de la conférence diplomatique sur la création d'une cour criminelle internationale. Nous continuerons cet après-midi matin à entendre les déclarations générales.
Right. But if they're so big, you have to make them in half. Fold them over. They don't fit. They don't fit. So, we're not too much of the camera, so just worry about room there.
Fine.
You lost your thing?
No, I haven't.
You all right? All right, get the cameraman out.
No, io ho basta che sono andati qua. L'avverti te allora a cosa? Se no l'avverto io.
They're watching us shaking hands. Good.
Oh, it's Italian. No, it's a lady. No.
Sur la télévision américaine, vous voir maintenant.
Ah bon, merci beaucoup. Merci beaucoup. J'ai gardé votre interview, votre résumé.
Oui, oh, c'est très bien.
J'ai gardé parce que c'est des points de repère importants.
Ah, vous êtes très gentil. Down the corridor. Come with me. We're going to go down the corridor with all these nice people.
Hello.
How are you?
How are you? Fine, thanks.
You're on it. Television right now. Very nice picture there. Beautiful picture. Let's go up and I'll show you three pictures
This one looks
Be careful, you may be on sound here. So these are all distinguished leaders of the Federal Food and Agricultural Administration. This shows the Nile, the pictures of the Nile, and it's a very dramatic presentation of what goes on at the United Nations.
I know.
We take 47,000 pictures, and they take one of them, which is all right.
Color is very
But this is, look what's happening here. They're sailing on the Nile, and the other one is
pretty, right?
in the corner.
Oh, over there.
They look
She looks very
And the
sad.
fish, that's what we're going to do here. Don't you see? And we have all the people sitting there. That picture with Abdul Kalma, that must look very nice, because he's about 7 feet tall. Yeah, here they're looking at all this night, they're blowing his flute, and the other fellow is there. Yeah. So we say hello to some of the Arab delegates right now speaking here, and the others are not.
This page, right
He
here.
said he was very impressed with this speech. But
It
it's the
was
only
very
one that
moving.
took
It was the only moving
And
speech.
the only one
You leaving tomorrow? Where are
from a
you staying?
Nuremberg
Can I
prosecutor.
get your number?
Yes,
you
we're at
stay?
the Hotel San Anselmo, and
What's
Mario.
To my hotel to read it.
Oh, that's very sweet of you.
Yes, well, so because it's
You
so
like it.
important. Yes, I
Well,
like it, and I'm
you know-
all for this, you know.
I'm certainly the only person in the room who is not paid to be there and who represents nobody.
Yes, well, that,
I understand that in your position, you're restrained. You cannot say what you think. You have to be cautious, you know.
Well, of
So
course.
everybody has to be very careful here. So 185 people are looking
If
at you.
nobody pays you, you're
I know. I used to be 7 feet tall, but they beat me down. I've been downsized.
Well, it doesn't matter as long as you can speak out so strongly.
I'm doing
Well,
a great
you know,
job.
we've been
Now,
doing
he
this for
brought his
50
bagpipes,
years.
and I want to be invited to the concert. But I'm leaving tomorrow morning.
Yes.
He's also leaving in a few days, right?
Yeah, yes,
Yeah.
yeah. The next concert.
Anyway, right now, you'll be photographed.
I recognize you about 40 years ago. So, sorry, 40, before you
Okay,
were born.
run along.
Long before you were born. Wasn't very better now, really.
You know, and I am so angry at the world community for letting it happen. You know, it's not enough to come afterwards and say, well, we'll try to catch a few of the criminals. They should never have let it happen. They knew it was happening, Srebrenica and all the rest of them. They let it happen,
yes.
you know. So, but
I know.
I scream whenever I
What
can.
are you doing here?
Emma Bonino is very strong.
But
you know.
yeah, I don't friends with them.
You're not
I'm
friends
voluntary.
You're a volunteer.
Yeah, I would like see my you know who is my ambassador? Bosnia,
Ambassador?
Šećer Bey.
Sesame, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Sure, I know. We were at
We all
lecture,
know
and we
from
don't
television.
America. He's more
He's
American
always
than
out
he
there.
is.
He's American. His
Yeah,
English is
I know him,
excellent.
sure, I know him.
I know.
Pace Law School, in my law school where I teach. He came there, it was ready 2 years ago. And he gave me something very important. He had a cold, and I caught it.
He shared his cold
We
with them.
were on the lecture platform. He was
He
sitting next to
sneezed.
me. I never had a chance like this before.
He rebels with
I have a list.
I want to check.
I think it will be 12:30 before him.
11:30 is what Maria said, whatever her name is.
Look, there was a Tajikistan speaking. No, now it was Guinea. Somebody, I think that people gave me the list, but of course I lost it.
Of course. I did. I had
You
it
know
right
why
in
you
the front
don't
here.
have it? Because I do.
You have it. Show her the list. I gave her a copy.
What kind?
Memorize it tonight.
What are we? You have to look for you. Oh, I don't have to look
She
for
wants the
speakers. I
program.
thought you wanted. Okay,
I
I don't
have
have
it. I
that.
have it. I have it. But I remember.
About
Okay.
11:30.
All right. Let's go now. Yes, ma'am.
Is it possible to have a short interview today with you upstairs? Which are meeting upstairs.
Yeah.
And I see you with your wife
Yeah.
running here around,
Yeah.
being with the NGOs, and just want to ask you some questions. You will be upstairs.
Well, I'll be upstairs in the plenary.
So I'm going to look.
Or he will be, in the plenary, on the NGOs.
Well, look, anyway, im Prinzip, ich bin dafür.
Sehr schön.
Bin ich dafür.
Eine Frage von Zeit.
Ja,
I
nicht
would
wahr?
like to interview a little bit too.
Okay.
Yeah?
Walk out back in. So, it's currently on Hausdeutsch. Also Hausdeutsch. Okay. Look, it's not finished yet. It's not finished yet. No? That's it. All right, we called those police there, but they're gone. Yeah, they're getting away from the shade. Oh my God, if we got enough. He's got to just keep the film rolling. He charges them by the hour. Oh, voices. We're being recorded. Yes. Well, I think the most important thing really is to stop aggression. If we can condemn aggressive war as a crime, that would have been a great achievement. And I'm glad to see that the crime of all. And if we can stop that crime, then we will have made a great contribution.
The others will fall by the wayside.
Well, we hope so. So let's see. I wish I had some of these colorful Cavato, Sostenare. We'll go in and we'll go out. Hey, Zimmerman, they just left. All right. That's enough of this camera spiel. All right, let's go in and we come out. Okay. Well, Gertrude, we are now looking at the Trevi Fountain in Rome. It's been a long time since we were here. It was over 50 years ago, I think, we were there. Well, it's still, they've cleaned it up quite a bit, and that's good. I was climbing over all of these steps here. I guess the cameraman, we could stand up on here, as well as somebody standing up here. Yeah, well, when they're finished with whatever they're doing, we'll do the same. They're all waving furiously. All right, let's try this one. Yeah, here you get a very nice view. Very nice view here on our head.
It's only a penny.
It's not the penny that counts. You hit him in the eye, you got more than a penny.
Okay.
But here's a place to make a wish at the Trevi Fountain. Would you like to make the first wish?
Yes, I'm wishing for a peaceful world all over the world for everybody. To live in peace and dignity and good health.
Well, here we are at the Trevi Fountain in Rome. In 1998, revisiting it after more than 50 years. And I suppose we've got to make a wish. And since we're here working for an international criminal court, the best I can wish for now is for world peace for all of humankind. That's what we've been trying to do. That we can replace the rule of law for the rule of war. I think that's the message of the Prince of Peace, and it's very appropriate to repeat that message here in Rome and hope that finally, as we enter the third millennium after his birth, that it will become a reality.
All I can say is amen. I second your wish.
Thank you, dear. It's a lovely place, and it's a lovely day, and it's a lovely city. And
it brings back lovely memories of our first trip here in 1946.
Yes, it was a long time ago.
It is.
But it's still very active, more active now than it was then.
Seems much busier.
Many more people here. They've surrounded the fountain with gates so you can't get close. And I suppose people are still throwing money into the fountain to make a wish. But let's make a wish here for peace and happiness for everyone.
Right on.
Okay, let's see if it works. We hope we have a more peaceful world.
By next year, I hope that the court isn't in front of me.
The water is falling, the chairs. Here we are, there we are. Now let's give him a special one. How about that? Okay, he didn't get it. Okay. Okay, that's the beautiful palace here and everything all around us. Yes, there's no pants on.
Got a nice view.
Yes, Medici.
Nice space.
Yes, very nice and peaceful. No, no got a minuto.
No, gracias, gracias. You have to enjoy the city.
Yes. Gracias, molte gracias. I don't know what it's doing. Apartment 12. There's a copy of the big and magnifico Anno Domino. I can't read the it says a picture of the fountain. See the balance, the Corinthian. All right. All right. All right. Oh yes, they're getting married here. Isn't that nice? Isn't that lovely? Very well. I'm going to toast them. Oh, that's nice. Shall I stop and congratulate you? all members of one human family is also a message we are still receiving today, and I hope that we can really begin to implement it in the next millennium from our future. Here they have a Japanese. Come from all over the world. If you watch it, there's a lady there, a Japanese lady. Yeah. This is very colorful. Are you from Japan? Good. No. Ohio gozaimasu. So that's a good picture there. Sayonara. Ohio gozaimasu, and how do you say yes? And how do you say? Well, it's a very exciting farm. If you sit here long enough, everybody will pass by here, is what they say. It looks like they're right.
It looks very colorful, very much alive, but I like about it. Everybody's big.
I don't know why they bothered putting my name on the store, Benny.
They misspelled it.
Well, store after me, next to the Turvey Fountain. I can't object to that, right? Okay. When did we get to the concession? Come along, Gertrude. We want to look at this statue of Giordano Bruno. Giordano Bruno. I've often compared myself to Giordano Bruno. Burned at the stake for telling the truth. To his books. And he has a pigeon apiece on his head. Isn't that nice? It's a live pigeon, and all around them, pigeons still. Well, that's nice. I'd like to get some souvenirs, some postcards or some pictures of him or something. Americans don't know anything about Giordano Bruno. I talk to them about Giordano Bruno. I think he's a local pizza parlor. It's quite impressive. And I guess the story of his trial is shown on the bas-relief all around it.
Yeah, that looks like a court scene.
Yeah, you can see the inquisitor is pointing to him, and he's sitting down at the bottom, and he's probably saying that I won't deny it, you know. When they had poor old Galileo there, Galileo said, I recant, you know, was the wisdom. Certainly, we have the same problems going on today. Sure, I'd like to get some writing about him, if I can. You going to come with me, Gertrude? Let's look around, see if you can find out where we can get some picture postcards or something like that. Yeah, well, they get some cherries. If you can't get some cherries, they look wonderful down the other end. Kilo, 500, half a kilo. Including this. I don't know we lost our camera crew here, but... We need your cherries. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Okay. You get the money. Okay.
You want it?
Oh, why not? After all, equality, you know, men are entitled to equality too. Nice string beans. It's interesting to see where all those fruits come from.
Where do they come
The nice flowers, want some flowers? I don't know where we've lost. I don't know where we've lost. The cameraman, some cherries here. Poor fellow. Look at the other. There's some nice pears and oranges on the other side too.
I can't shop there.
I'm going to take the camera and move down and see what's happening there. And I can see a carabinieri there. So I don't know what's happening.
All the dumps flew away, did you see?
Yep. I get a better picture of. I wanted to take a picture. I'm going to take a picture of Giordano Bruno, and you can snap it, Gertrude, and I'll stand right in front of it. Huh? Well, you'll just put down our grapes, some of the cherries.
I can't. I won't do a good job.
You can do a very good job.
No.
I cannot take a picture of myself. So I want to come right over here and take a picture of Giordano Bruno. I'd like you in that, Gertrude, if I could, or somebody. Okay, right. Giordano Bruno. We finally met. I am probably the reincarnation of Giordano Bruno, a man who was burned at the stake because he told the truth in a world which just didn't believe that the world was not the center, the earth was not the center of the universe. So it's a dangerous business, you know, to be different from the majority. Anyway, I'm going to try to move a little closer and get a closer shot. Are you in?
Is that like to take the phone and put it next to my...
No. Nescafe is somebody else. Maybe he was. Is it from Arkansas to Rome?
Made it much better.
Right?
I enjoyed everything.
This will be a big event, and if your parents see you on A&E, and I don't know when, a couple of weeks, a couple of months, or something like that, they'll be quite excited. They'll tell you something about the interesting part of where you are here.
Very good.
You happen to be sitting at the foot of a statue of a man by the name of Giordano Bruno. Giordano Bruno is not very well known in the United States, but if you believed in reincarnation, you're probably sitting with the reincarnation of Giordano Bruno. And he's noted for having been burned at the stake. And the reason that poor man was burned at the stake was because he spoke the truth. And he spoke the truth at a time when people believed that God had created the heavens and the earth, with the earth being the center of the universe. And all the great astronomers, Copernicus and Galileo and Tycho Brahe, all saw that it wasn't so. And when they said it wasn't so, this was a challenge to the church authority. So he was hauled before the Inquisition and was told that you cannot do that. You'll be excommunicated and you'll be burned at the stake. And he said, I can't help it. I've got to speak the truth because I see it. These are all my studies, all my examinations. And so, in the long run, he perished. He died for his insistence upon the truth. Galileo was faced with the same problem. And when he came before the Inquisition, they said, either you recant or you'll follow Giordano Bruno. He said, I recant. And he muttered, the story goes, and still it turned. Still the earth is turning, even though he recanted. So what I'm trying to do is to try to create a more peaceful world where war is outlawed, and war is recognized for what it is really, a form of insanity among people who call themselves human and who behave in an inhuman way, and to substitute a peace ethic for the war ethic that existed. So people think I'm crazy. It's heresy. I'm preaching something which is contrary to the gospel. We were all raised to glorify war, to believe that the greatest thing is to die for your country. I don't believe that. I believe the greatest thing is to live for your country, to help other people live, not only for their country, but for all of humankind. And that was a doctrine which was preached here in Rome 2,000 years ago. And we're going into the third millennium now of the Prince of Peace. And I'm following the same line. And I'm also enjoying the tea and the strudel in this lovely cafe, and meeting these two lovely ladies from Arkansas who are studying art here, and being together with my wife, who was with me in Nuremberg, where we're trying to espouse those principles. So, ciao, and santé, and cheers, and chin-chin, and to peace, and to Giordano Bruno, in the memory of Giordano Bruno, a man who stood for his principles, even if he had to die for it. We are still on camera.
I'm coaching Melissa.
You ladies can coach all your life. I know that I am being recorded for eternity, for posterity. Getting pictures of all these girls. He thinks that they're going to pay him for this job when they see the work that he's doing, but he's going to have to pay them.
They're the ones that make
Behind
it.
every good man,
T.S. Eliot's wife.
wonderful woman. Exactly. I told him that many times. You hear it.
Repetition.
Well, she broke my arm 6 times.
I didn't say that. I said it's nice.
I believe in marriage, by the way.
Well,
Family, marriage.
I'm not going to make that opening, that's clear. So,
You're not.
going. Criminal court, which will deal with genocide and a few other major crimes, such as mass rapes, crimes against humanity, aggression, crimes. And so they get away with it. And we think that's not a very nice idea. All countries, 185 countries,
That are all
here. Their ambassadors are here, practically all. And the Holy See is here. There are 3 of them here, today. So they're all lawyers. They should have a treaty which they're ready to sign. The United States has to ratify. There we need options. Because Americans don't believe much in Senator Jesse Helms, who is the chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, is against it. Made it very clear. So, arrivederci Roma, goodbye to Rome. La 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 Arrivederci Roma. Oh, that building is falling apart. Look at that. It doesn't look like Italian construction. Well, that's the way it is. All right. I don't think I'd buy this house. I don't know. Lots of Germani, Oh, well. Well, what do you want? More talking. All right. You want me to keep talking or not talking?
Misterioso.
The bathroom is a very interesting excursion.
You got it.
well.
You got it.
Say what me.
That's it. That'll be historical, right? Hysterical, I mean. My wife comes back and reports. And going. Hold on.
She's going to tell us. Don't always run
Tell us
ahead of
when.
me.
Okay. Go. Mi moglie. Mi
Go,
moglie.
go,
What
go,
do you
go,
want?
go.
Arrivederci, professore.
Arrivederci. Arrivederci. Molte grazie. All right. All right. If you're supposed to be natural, it's one thing. To start in the middle screaming, why, that's something that you can't really use. All right. Let's see. All right. That's the story. Okay.
Arrivederci.
Hello. Arrivederci. Buongiorno, signora, bella signora. Hello. Buongiorno.
Arrivederci Roma, hello.
Arrivederci, Roma. More? Some more.